my vlog. This video is going to be mostly for parents out there with children with CF. I know a lot of parents that have kids with CF. It's pretty scary, especially in the beginning. You know, you don't know what to do, you don't know what lifestyle. Some people may be familiar with CF and others have never heard of it before. So this is just kind of a look back of what I went through and how things helped me and things didn't help me, and a couple other kids I knew growing up and they had CF and what helped them, what didn't help them. I'm just trying to give you guys a heads up of, you know, what to expect or what I would say you should do. And no way am I trying to tell you how to raise your kid. You know, always listen to your doctors, that's for sure. But yeah, so here we go. The first thing is attitude. I would say be as optimistic as possible. You know, when I was a kid, it was only my mom raising me pretty much, and my grandparents, and you know, it was always whatever I wanted to do, I could do it when I grow up. Like, you know, have goals, have dreams, and, you know, encourage your child to reach those. Because with CF, we're already scared enough. Like, you know, what happens in the future, or what if I get sick, or what if I can't work, go to school, things like that. And I never had to think about those until I got in high school or college even, just because my mom was always telling me, you know, do whatever you want, you're fine, you're gonna be great, and you're so smart, you know, this and that, what you know, a mother would do. But I had another friend who, his mom was a lot more, I guess you'd say, protective, but she let him skip some treatments here and there. She let him skip some enzymes here and there. But she didn't want him to go out in public because he would get germs, or didn't want him going to Chuck E. Cheese because he would get germs. Things like that. And he ended up a lot worse than me. Now, I'm not saying his mom's actions caused that, because it definitely could have been his severity of the disease. But I can just imagine if I were looking back, and the way I feel about it now is I would rather live half of a life and have an amazing life, have something I never regretted, I loved my life growing up, rather than living a whole life and saying, oh, I never did that, or I never did this, or things like that, if that makes sense. You know, my mom always tried to live, you know, like every day was your last, basically, was what she taught me. So we went to Chuck E. Cheese every weekend pretty much. It was good, and the pizza was wonderful. But yeah, we played McDonald's ball pits and went to carnivals, and you know, did what you would expect as a kid. So you know, definitely make your child aware of the disease. Make sure, you know, they know they need to take their treatments. They have to take their enzymes. You know, whatever else medication they have to do, it's important. Like they have to do it. But at the same time, try to just encourage them to live a normal life. Try to make them be as happy as possible and say, hey, you know, this is just something you have to do. You know, everyone has their struggles and we all have to fight to get through them. And yeah, I mean, it might hold you back here and there, but there's no reason you shouldn't strive to live, you know, the fullest life possible. And that just goes back to the germs thing. Yeah, you want to be protective. Like, you want to not let your kid get sick. You don't want them to expose them to a lot of sick children. That totally makes sense. But at the same time, don't take it to the extreme. I mean, you know, don't say, oh, you can't go to the carnival because there might be one sick person out of that 500 or 1,000 people there. I grew up in a small town. I don't know how many people go to your carnivals, but we've had like maybe 200-300 at any given time. But anyway, yeah, so don't hold them back to the funner things in life. You know, go to a theme park, ride some roller coasters, do all that fun stuff, because it really will pay off in the future. It's just something that you can look back on and say, man, you know, I had this terrible disease, but I really had a lot of fun, and I really enjoy that. That means a lot to me. The other thing would be activity. You know, I'm sure doctors tell you now they really are promoting exercise. I know back when I was younger, they always encouraged me to play sports, but it wasn't one of those like hey, you have CF, you should go do this type thing. Exercise is so important. I mean, I played t-ball when I was really, really young. I played baseball after that. I played basketball, all that kind of stuff. And then when I was at my grandparents' house, my grandpa would throw me up in the air and catch me, and throw me up in the air and catch me, and that was my airway clearance at their house. So, you know, be as active as possible. Encourage your kid to get out and play some sports, or run around with friends, or play tag. We were always playing tag. I was a huge wrestling fanatic too. Oh yeah, like jumping all over the couches. I had like stuffed animal teddy bears I was throwing around in the air, all types of things. It's good that we don't have video of it, but it was a good time. But yeah, so, you know, goes back to, you know, try not to hold your kid back. Try to encourage them to do sports, encourage them to do what they like to do. Get outside. I mean, we are always inside these days, on the computer, on your phone, on the video games. You know, get outside some. Just run around. And that was one thing, you know, when I was growing up, I played a lot of video games because, you know, my treatments. That helped me the most. These days, I can't imagine what kids are doing, iPads and cell phones and whatnot games. But we played the old Super Nintendo throughout all my treatments. That worked well. But yeah, so, you know, as a kid, just really get outside and have some fun. And then pets. I know a lot of parents have been concerned about pets and what do I do? You know, can my kid have a pet and whatnot? We found out early I was allergic to cats. Okay, so I had one friend. I'd go to their house and I would be totally fine. They had 2 cats, no big deal. Stayed the night at his house, never had any problems. I had another friend. He had 5 cats. They went outside. So when I went to his house, they would be bringing dead rodents and all kinds of stuff back in. But the point was, my eyes would water, my eyes would swell. You know, I'd be itchy. It was a terrible time. It was a horrible time staying at his house, and he had the coolest house, so it was a letdown. But either way, you know, if you're allergic to something, obviously don't go near it. But I had dogs all my life. Dogs are great, by the way. I mean, I would recommend it for anybody, or cats, either one, whatever. But a pet, you know, when you're feeling down, and people are people, I mean, but dogs or animals in general, that unconditional love is wonderful. I had a dog since I was 2 years old. I had 3 of them mostly growing up, and then now we only have 1 big golden doodle. It's 80 pounds. But one thing about dogs or cats, I don't know about cats at all because I didn't have any, but dogs, we have a golden doodle now, and it's a golden retriever poodle mix, but he's hypoallergenic, so it's great for allergies. I mean, we've had him for a year, and you know, I still don't have any problems, but it doesn't shed, you know, nothing like that. It's real friendly, really smart, awesome dog. So yeah, you know, I wouldn't be scared to let your child have pets as long as you clear it with the doctor, you know, make sure they're not allergic, obviously. But yeah, let them have some fun. Let them have a buddy to play with when they're down, or you know, they're doing their treatments or whatnot. It's really helpful. But the main thing I'm trying to get at is, looking back on it, I don't have any regrets. I even went to I never missed a day of school growing up. Okay, did all my treatments, all my enzymes, all that kind of stuff. Hung out with friends, stayed the night at friends' houses, you know, things like that. I went to college. I got really sick, really sick. My lung function dropped from the 90s down to FEV1 of 26% was my lowest. And you know, getting evaluated for a lung transplant, things like that. I mentioned in my introductory video, but I got so sick that, you know, I dropped out of school, dropped out of work. I was just on oxygen full time, doing my treatments, and that's all I could do. And it sucked, that's for sure. I went away to college though. I went two hours away from my house, or away from my home. And because I wanted to be, you know, the typical teenager, I wanted to be away from my parents. I wanted to have fun. I wanted to be with my friends. And I never had problems growing up, so it wasn't a big deal. So I went away to college, and I got super sick. And I mean, I had a lot of fun in college. I was a typical guy. You know, I studied, went to school. I also had a job, but I also went out at night. You know, I went out with my friends. I had a good time. And looking back on it, I wouldn't trade it. I mean, if someone could say, hey, you know, you could go to a school closer to home, or you could even live at home and go to college, and you wouldn't be 2 hours away from home. You'd still have your doctors close by. You'd still be eating home-cooked meals, and you know, you'd have everything there that you had all your life, that you never got sick, and you wouldn't have people from all over the world going to this big university that you went to. You could do that if you wanted to. Let's just go back in time. I don't think I would do it. I mean, looking back, I'm 25 now. Yeah, I would love to have never gotten sick. I'd love to still have my lung function above 50%, which I'm sure, not positive, but if I didn't go to college or I didn't get so sick, I probably would. But it was a blast. I mean, it was times that, you know, I would never get back. I would never be able to experience that if I hadn't gone. And I would never have gotten sick and really realized the full gravity of CF if I didn't go. I just wouldn't have known any of it. And so I wouldn't change it. You know, your child's going to grow up. They're going to make mistakes. They're going to get sick, I'm sure, if they have CF. And you're going to learn from it all. But the key thing to take away from it is just don't hold them back. Obviously, keep them healthy as you can. But don't hold them back. My mom really debated on whether she should let me go away to college or not. And my whole family said, oh no, I don't think you should, you know. And I never had any problems before that. So, you know, they were still saying, no, I don't think you should. And I said, Mom, you know, like, I'll take care of myself. I'll take care of myself. And I did. I mean, I went to college, I took care of myself, but I never had to study before. I had to learn how to study. I had germs from all over the world people were bringing in, you know, in these classes, these 500 people lecture halls. I had to do treatments in front of people that I wasn't comfortable with, things like that. And, you know, I wasn't getting enough sleep at night and things like that. So I definitely, you know, I tried to take care of myself as best I could, but I still slacked here and there. So yeah, I did end up getting super sick. Even the doctors couldn't figure out for a long time why I was getting so sick so frequently and repetitively in such a fast amount of time. It was a really short time span that, like, I just crashed. My lung function just went down and I couldn't stay out of the hospital. So yeah, it definitely sucks. But so many things have happened throughout this past 5 years that I just wouldn't trade it. I mean, you know, I have no clue where I would be right now if I didn't do those things. I have no clue where I'd be if I didn't go away to college and meet the people I met. And yeah, I might be better off right now, but I also might still be living with my parents and not have ever gotten out of the house because I wasn't, you know, put in that situation. I might still be in my comfort zone. So yeah, I mean, I don't know how else to say it. Just, I wouldn't change it. So really think about it, you know, keep your kid healthy, but at the same time, don't hold them back. Let them know what they're getting into. The best you can do is just warn them. Say, look, you know, here's this story of this CF patient. Here's another story of another CF patient. This can happen, you know, and hopefully they'll be able to make the right choice for them. Yeah, you gotta take risks in the world and be the best you can and be as healthy as possible, but you know, things are gonna happen. But anyway, I just want to give the parents out there kind of an insight of what happened to me, how I lived through it, what my advice would be growing up as a kid. You know, I look back and I love my childhood. I've always told my family, thank you. I've always said, I could die tomorrow and I'd be happy. Of course I want to live longer. Of course I want to see the world grow, or I want to have a family one day, and I want this and that. But my past has been great. And, you know, that's a huge thank you to my mom and my family both, my whole support system, you know, for encouraging me all the way, being there for me when I needed them, and never letting me give up. So really focus on those things, and the best of luck to you guys. All right, check out my next video and comment below any questions you have. I'll try to get your questions. Email me directly, anything like that, and be on the lookout for my next video, guys. If you haven't already, please subscribe. See ya.